We love the things we love for what they are. Never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. No tears in the writer. No tears in the reader. No surprise in the writer. No surprise in the reader. A poem begins as a lump in the throat, a sense of wrong, a homesickness, a lovesickness. Love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Forgive, O Lord, my little jokes on thee, and I'll forgive thy great big one on me. Half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half who have nothing to say and keep on saying it. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I am not a teacher, but an awakener. Happiness makes up in height for what it lacks in length. Home is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in. Don't ever take a fence down until you know why it was put up. Forgive me my nonsense as I also forgive the nonsense of those who think they talk sense. A diplomat is a man who always remembers a woman's birthday, but never remembers her age. There are two kinds of teachers, the kind that fill you with so much quail shot that you can't move, and the kind that just gives you a little prod behind, and you jump to the skies. I hold it to be the inalienable right of anybody to go to hell in his own way. There is one thing more exasperating than a wife who can cook and won't, and that's a wife who can't cook and will. A mother takes 20 years to make a man of her boy, and another woman makes a fool of him in 20 minutes. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? We dance round in a ring and suppose, but the secret sits in the middle and knows. Something we were withholding made us weak, until we found it was ourselves. A jury consists of 12 persons chosen to decide who has the better lawyer. The world is full of willing people, some willing to work, the rest willing to let them. A poem begins with a lump in the throat, a homesickness or a love sickness. It is a reaching out toward expression, an effort to find fulfillment. A complete poem is one where an emotion has found its thought, and the thought has found words. The brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning, and does not stop until you get into the office. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out. The middle of the road is where the white line is, and that's the worst place to drive. Unless you are educated in metaphor, you are not safe to be let loose in the world. I believe in teaching, but I don't believe in going to school. By faithfully working 8 hours a day, you may eventually get to be boss, and work 12 hours a day. I am a writer of books in retrospect. I talk in order to understand. I teach in order to learn. Families break up when they get hints you don't intend, and miss hints that you do. You are always believing ahead of your evidence. What was the evidence I could write a poem? I just believed it. The most creative thing in us is to believe in a thing. A person will sometimes devote all his life to the development of one part of his body, the wishbone. A civilized society is one which tolerates eccentricity to the point of doubtful sanity. A civilized The best things and best people rise out of their separateness. I'm against a homogenized society because I want the cream to rise. The best things and best people rise out of their separateness. I'm against a homogenized society because I want the cream to rise. Hope is not found in a way out but a way through. It looked as if a night of dark intent was coming. And not only a night, an age. Someone had better be prepared for rage. The hurt is not enough. I long for weight and strength, to feel the earth is rough to all my length. So was I once myself, a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. Being the boss anywhere is lonely. Being a female boss in a world of mostly men is especially so. He says the best way out is always through, and I can agree to that, or in so far as that I can see no way out but through. When I was young, I was so interested in baseball that my family was afraid I'd waste my life and be a pitcher. Later they were afraid I'd waste my life and be a poet. They were right. Nobody was ever meant to remember or invent what he did with every cent. Nobody was ever meant to remember or invent what he did with every cent. Life must be kept up at a great rate in order to absorb any considerable amount of learning. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. Like a piece of ice on a hot stove, the poem must ride on its own melting. They would not find me changed from him, they knew, only more sure of all I thought was true. There never was any heart truly great and generous that was not also tender and compassionate. I never dared be radical when young for fear it would make me conservative when old. The chief reason for going to school is to get the impression fixed for life that there is a book side for everything. You can be a little ungrammatical if you come from the right part of the country. You can be a little ungrammatical if you come from the right part of the country.